Marathon just released, and honestly, I didn't even notice. I barely see anyone talking about this game, and with the death of Highguard on the horizon, the next question on everyone's lips is, who's next? And naturally, I'm over here giving Marathon the side eye because, yeah, nobody asked for this game, especially not from Bungie. We're talking about the same Bungie who made classics like Halo, and love it or hate it, Destiny was also a pretty big deal for them. Now the studio is being run into the ground with layoffs happening left and right, then they suddenly push out a live service extraction shooter. It just seems a little desperate to me, like some panic move by the studio to recoup their financial failings, because those last few Destiny expansions were definitely not paying the bills. Gamers don't seem overwhelmingly enthused about another extraction shooter making the rounds, and after Big Daddy Sony dropped a couple $1 billion on your studio, I imagine they're looking for results. And to be honest, Marathon does look like it's open to a positive reaction so far, so I don't doubt the game will find its specific audience that it's catering to. Now, I did play a little bit of Marathon during the server slam, and I felt like it was a pretty solid game mechanically. I couldn't tell what the hell was going on because the weird art style and how Roblox blocky everything is. Heck dude, I couldn't even tell human players apart from the NPC robots, and let me tell you, I just might be scarred for life after getting tentacled against my will so many times. Like seriously, there should be a trigger warning for this kind of thing. But right now Marathon is sitting at around 80,000 players on Steam since it dropped. Not quite Highguard numbers. I believe Highguard was nearly 100,000 players at its peak on Steam, but to be fair, Highguard was a free game. Marathon's first shot in the foot is that it's $40 just to play the game, and we'll see just how well it can maintain those numbers over the course of the week, but I don't hold high hopes, dude, and I'm not even trying to be a doomer. I actually want to give the game the benefit of the doubt, but I don't see the buzz around Marathon at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't even realize the game released today. That is until I booted up Steam and then I saw the big banner flashing that Marathon just dropped. I mean, hey, maybe I'm just not the target audience, but seriously, all I see on my YouTube feed is Resident Evil Requiem, and after scrolling furiously for like 5 seconds, I finally find one Marathon video by IGN. Like, no one is talking about Marathon in the mainstream circles, it seems like. They'd all rather just keep playing Resident Evil, and I bet Capcom is feeling a little bit like this image of Leon right now, because Resident Evil 9 came out at the end of February. We're like a week after that game dropped and it's still filling YouTube feeds. It just feels like Bungie is a dying studio and they're desperately clutching at anything for a win, which is sad really. I remember being hyped about Halo 2 and 3 when they first came out. I played those games for hours every day after school because they felt like complete packages. You had a fully fleshed out campaign mode with a cinematic story, and you can play in co-op in those games too, both online and local. I'm looking at you, Halo Infinite. And then there was the multiplayer where if you wanted to, you could smack down some noobs online while commenting on their mom's extracurricular activities on the street corner. And now, gaming just feels like broken and rushed. Half-finished experiences with promises to finish them in future updates. Well, that is, if the game doesn't die first. Because if that happens, then you're just out of luck. I can't explain enough how much I dislike this trend towards live service gaming where many studios are just dropping the single player model entirely for games like this. I searched Marathon on YouTube and one of the first results is Ko slamming his criticisms down on the game and comparing it to Arc Raiders, which yeah, let's compare the $40 extraction shooter to another $40 extraction shooter. Arc Raiders came out in October of last year and is still pushing almost 200,000 players daily. Heck, it launched with almost 300,000 players. I remember that game flooding my feeds, like I couldn't escape Arc Raiders no matter where I went. I was already exhausted by the game, and I hadn't even played it yet. But now it's like the total opposite with Marathon because, I mean, what's there to talk about with Marathon besides the bad UI? Is there anything special about it that pops out and makes it its own unique kind of extraction shooter, aside from the art design, which people have completely roasted the game over by now? And there's also the drip-fed cutscenes they give you after you do a run, which, you know, they give you a little bit of lore, but I don't see anything else here besides hey, here's another extraction shooter live service game, please stop playing the games you already love to come try this one. Meanwhile, Arc Raiders has almost ascended its extraction shooter game design entirely. Like, it's actually gotten gamers to act civilized and peaceful and not shoot the bejesus out of each other the first chance that they get. Arc Raiders is almost like a social experience at this point. Like, it's almost its own social media. People hop on just to chill with strangers and take down some arcs. And that's another thing, the arcs in Arc Raiders are so varied and diverse. You have these little roly-poly ones all the way up to these huge behemoths that take several players to take them down. It's thrilling, it's a rush, and I just don't see anything near the equivalent of that in Marathon because most of the enemy types seem to be humanoid-shaped robot. Humanoid-shaped robot with a shield. Oh, this one can go invisible. Oh hey, there's a tiny little turret, a UFO looking thing. Oh look, I died. And again, these studios keep chasing live service trends and it seems to only bite them in the back most of the time. With PlayStation now having this push towards live service with not only Bungie's Marathon but also Guerrilla Games with their new Fortnite bubblegum flavored Horizon game. Yeah, we went from having big AAA cinematic gaming experiences in the Horizon series to this offense to all that is holy. Like, I feel like I need to get baptized just for seeing this. And do I need to remind you all how Rocksteady is literally dead as a studio right now after that dumpster fire Suicide Squad game? They couldn't even give the game away, dude. Like, they had all kinds of $3 sales going on. They even just straight up gave the game away for free on Epic Games Store. I've got 2 copies of this freaking Suicide Squad game in it, and I can't even give either of them away. So sure, what are my predictions on Marathon? I think Marathon is going to have better legs than Highguard, that's for sure, but depending on how the in-game experience is, depending on what kind of updates they plan to throw in, I'm thinking this won't die. I'm thinking it'll end up like Outlast Trials. It might have a small, healthy player base of dedicated players, just enough to justify the devs to keep updating it, but all the casuals are going to move on to more exciting and interesting games. Fans of other games aren't leaving those games to play this, and Marathon seems to just do enough to be called an extraction shooter. It throws in some hero shooter elements like shells because why not? It's not like we've gotten enough of those lately, but at the end of the day, I think Marathon will be largely forgotten. It's not going to be the next Arc Raiders. I doubt you'll see your favorite YouTube live streamers playing this for long, and yeah, I'm just worried for Bungie at this point. I mean, I'll take any opportunity to kick companies like Sony in the teeth, but dev studios, the people with talent, it just sucks seeing them put in this kind of position. Anyway, we'll see how Marathon goes as the days go by. This is RageWatch, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.